This is one of our favorite games. It's called Story. And what's going to happen is we're going to tell you a little story. They're going to make it up. And I'm going to point to people, and they're going to start the story. And then as I point to different people, they're going to have to pick up where the last person left off and continue the story. And no matter who I point to, they have to just keep on going. We're going to make up a story for... We need a name of a fairy tale. Not a real fairy tale, but make up a name of a fairy tale. The story of the blank.
The man who stole Florida.
Story of the man who stole Florida. We'll make up anything we want with it. Doing a story for you. The fairy tale of the man who stole Florida.
Peter Peninsula stared at his map lovingly. There was something he loved about the shape of that southern state.
That and the fact that he had a vitamin C deficiency made him plan day in and day out
To steal the entire state of Florida. But first, you have to find a place to put it. You couldn't put it...
in his backyard, because his backyard was too small. So Peter thought,
Alabama. No one will look for Florida inside Alabama.
Peter, what are you doing down there? His mother yelled.
Oh, nothing, as he stood on the border of Alabama and Florida with a giant hacksaw. Cutting slowly.
It came off. But what he hadn't expected was Florida started to drift off into the ocean.
Luckily, he had a straw.
So he tried to use that to force water to bubble it back toward shore.
No, didn't work.
Florida found itself an island out in the middle of the Caribbean. The people liked it better. They no longer had people from New Jersey coming down all the time.
And there was dancing and singing, and Florida became the hottest island in the whole Caribbean.
and in fact, it became hotter than Cuba.
It became extra Cuba hot.
How could they keep the tourists coming to Cuba?
Castroland. An amazing amusement park of mustache roller coasters and
Che Guevara-themed mascots. Oh, people will thrill to come to our communist
Wonderland, where they'll get to wear identical military uniforms and march together and sit in...
Smoke cigars and stuff like that.
Suddenly, the state police showed up.
That's right, the Florida State Police, some of which had drowned during the horrible separation. But many had survived, and they came a-looking.
they found Peter still gleefully eating oranges,
all day long. He'd begun to turn orange.
which isn't really that good a color on him.
That was because he was a spring. He needed lighter colors to accent his eyes.
Florida began to sink. Peter said, what have I done? What was I thinking to think that this state could exist as an island? I must take this island back to
the rest of the continental United States. So he hooked a big outboard motor to the bottom of Florida. And
as it slowly started to sink, turning more into an archipelago, actually.
Which is a series of islands for people who don't know what an archipelago is.
Like, who doesn't know that?
So Peter decided to whip that motor into a frenzy, and he started to heave that whole
archipelago towards its homeward destination.
Just then his mother found him. She
was angry. She admitted to Peter that she had been dating Fidel Castro since the 60s. She said, honey, we're taking Florida.
Back where it belongs.
In the middle of the ocean next to Cuba. They're going to combine Cuba with Florida and make a new super country called
Floriduba. And Orlandavana will be its
capital. Unfortunately, they put it back backward.
So it became the opposite of what was said before.
It seemed that every state in the entire Union wanted to separate and form their own island and scoot about with outboard motors across the oceans.
Peter sat there thinking, what have I done?
The moral of this story is...
if you need orange juice,
why don't you just go down to the supermarket instead of sawing off one of the most populous states in the Union?
And when you turn a peninsula into an island, you're not going to have a merry isthmus.
Right back. Don't go away.